I was on a conference call today for 2 hours, a coaching call, and a few things that we covered yesterday. I want to reiterate some of them and then also put a new spin on some other things that I learned today. But how are we showing up at this point in time? In this moment right now, how are we showing up with the virus and everything that's going on? Do you find yourself more in management mode as opposed to creation mode, right? So sometimes we can get kind of in that state where we're just maintaining, we're just managing our lives as opposed to really leading and stepping out and creating and getting things done. How do you find yourself at this point in time? Because a lot of times we can get into a rut and we can start backpedaling a little bit. We can spend a little more time in the bed than we probably should. Spend a little more time eating out of the Haagen-Dazs bowl instead of maybe the carrots and the celery. I know that's a bad comparison. I prefer the ice cream, if you couldn't tell. But making better choices, right? So if we think about the last 7 days, if you go back over the last 7 days, how connected to the future would you say you were? Right? How connected to the future would you say you were over the last 7 days? Or have we just kind of been living right now? Just you can throw a comment in the chat there and let me know about that. Because sometimes, especially recently, sometimes we're just trying to win the day, right? We're just trying to win the day, and sometimes it just doesn't. We may not be living the day the way we need to, right? But as we come through here, what is it that we can do a little bit differently than maybe what we've been doing? And a lot of times it comes down to structured advancement. Brendon Burchard talks about structured advancement. You're like, structured advancement? Yeah, that's what I said. What the heck is structured advancement? It's the Friday finishers that we were talking about, right? It's that we are entering every single day with structure. And we're very intentional about advancing that every single day, right? So we start the week with our Friday finishers, and by Friday, 5 o'clock, by the time we're shutting down, it's done, right? And maybe we didn't get them all done. However, man, we got 1 through 5 done, but we didn't get 6 and 7 done. No problem. We just push 6 and 7 to the next week, and we get it in the planner, and we schedule it out. But what about the 5 that we did get done? Everybody put your hand out. Run it across. And then pat yourself on the back. Exactly. Pat yourself on the back, because those are 5 wins. And that's how we start to stack those wins, right? Is we have a win, we congratulate ourselves for it, we celebrate it a little bit, and then we continue to move forward, right? But the Friday finisher is a big deal. And this is how we know we're winning the week. And if we win the day and we win the week, then we can win the month. And then we can win the quarter. And then we can win the year, right? And that's how it works. But if we lose sight of the future, then we can get into a pretty negative state pretty quickly. But this is where we've got to reward ourselves, because when it comes down to it, we've got to integrate those wins into who we are, into our psyche, into our heart, into our souls, right? Because a lot of times if you've been winning, but you haven't been congratulating yourself for those wins, that's why we never go after the big dream. That's why we never go after the next level, or the level after that, or the level after that, because we don't feel confident enough, because we haven't been rewarding ourselves along the way. We have to get our own buy-in every step of the way, right? We have to get our own buy-in, because if you're not going to buy into you, who else is going to, right? We have to be able to do that. So competence, confidence, and momentum, right? Competence leads to confidence, which leads to momentum. One right after the other. And again, don't forget, it's a full exercise. It's almost like you're doing the Heil Hitler, but you're not. You're running it out there and you're patting yourself on the back, right? Big deal. Big deal. So what are we supposed to be doing this summer? It's May already, by the way, in case you were wondering. It's in the middle of May. So what is the option? What are we supposed to be doing from now through the summer? So a lot of folks, a lot of you that are in your own online business or in business, whatever it is you're doing for yourself, this is the time to build. This is the time to grow. This is the time to expand and to develop. So we build now and we launch in the fall. Some people are trying to wait until all of this virus thing is over, and then they're going to try to start to build, and then they're going to try to launch in January, and they just lost a whole year. So let's not be the ones that wait a year. Let's create now, and we'll launch in the fall, and then we'll create more in the winter, and we'll launch again in the spring, right? Stay a step ahead of the crowd. That's all I'm saying. So whatever it happens to be for you, right? And if you're writing a book, good, write it now. Don't wait. Let's get on that right now. I've got several friends of mine that are writing books right now. Good, right? But what about the ones that are out there that want to write that book, but haven't even got the outline down yet? They haven't even written out the outline. Well, let's get the outline written. Let's take some steps, right? So build more and manage less. So let's talk about the virus for a second. We know that we're probably, when all is said and done, you're going to have about 1 billion people to get that virus. And in the United States, probably 50 to 60% of the people in the United States will get the virus. Doesn't mean they'll have symptoms of the virus, but that's how herd immunity works. People get exposed, and they naturally build immunity to it without showing any signs of actually having had it. So do we live in fear that, oh my God, I might get the coronavirus, or do we live? We get to decide. Because if we're just going to cower down and live in fear, that's not living. That's not a way to live, right? So if we're going to live anyway, we may as well live, and absolutely live with intention. Most won't ever even see symptoms, right? And if we actually look at the real true data that's coming out, yeah, we had to do some things based on the data we had initially, but that doesn't mean we need to be doing that same stuff right now. I'll tell you that right now. But who am I? I'm just a guy in the middle of South Georgia who knows what he's talking about. There are people, get this, there are people with PhDs and master's degree in negativity. And you see them on every single network. So turn them off. Absolutely turn them off and avoid them as if they are the carriers of COVID-19 just by hearing their nasty voices. Because that's how negative they are. Stop buying into the negativity. Turn it off and move on. Because they're not serving you, they're not serving me, they're not serving the country, they're serving nobody but themselves. So turn them off. Move on to more positive content. And now, can I tell you where the future is not? All right, I'm going to tell you where the future is not. The future is not in hate, it's not in complaints, it's not in grumpiness, it's not in the negative rage that we see a lot of times. It's not there. So where's the future? The future is in energy and excitement and drive to win, the desire to build, right? That's where the excitement is. It's right here. That's where life is. That's where the future is. It's in our hearts. It's in our souls. It's in our minds. And we need to visit the future and touch base with the future every single day. We wake up in the morning in an attitude of gratitude that we get to breathe again. And then what? Now it's really time to focus in. Don't pick up your phone. Don't do anything else, but visualize your dreams, your goals, your daydreams, and don't just visualize your goals, but actually visualize yourself accomplishing the thing that you expect to get. That positive expectation that you are watching yourself achieve it. You're watching yourself build it. You're watching yourself launch it. You're watching yourself write it. You're visualizing the attaining of your future goals. That's what Fantasy Island's all about. You go to Fantasy Island for 30 minutes every day. But we have to actually go there. Remember that visualization comes before what? Yeah, we can go ahead and manifest it, but it doesn't get manifested until we have created it here first. Right? We visualize it, then we manifest it through working our behinds off. Absolutely working our behinds off. So the things to get excited about are what you're building. It's the future. So what is it that you could get excited about at the end of every day? So if we've got something that we're working on right now, and we're going to work on it all day long, What can we get excited about by 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. whenever we cut it off that we can celebrate when we're finished? A small win. And then what is it that we could schedule at the end of the week? I was just talking to Sam and Josh about Sunday nights and just turn it into a game night. Every Sunday night, we're just going to play games Sunday night so we have something to look forward to at the end of the week. Or taking a walk through the park. Whether that happens to be Freedom Park up the road or even a walk around the neighborhood. We got a nice pond out here too. Something to look forward to at the end of the day, the end of the week. What about the end of the month? Man, if you show up strong and you do some amazing things, what can you do to reward yourself for the end of the month that you can actually look forward to doing it? There were some flights that were insanely cheap for October. So I got on the phone, I called all my kids, I said, hey, what do you think? I think we should do this. And they're all like, yeah, let's go. We can actually afford it because it's so cheap right now. So we bought the flights. I'm not telling you where we're going yet. I'll tell you eventually, but I'm not telling you yet. But so we bought the flights. Why would we buy the flights now for October? Because we have got to have something positive to look forward to that keeps us out of the negativity that's going on around us right now. Right? You keep focused on the positive, you keep focused on what we're going to do, how we're going to get there, everything that we're going to do once we're there. It keeps us excited about the future. And it keeps us out of the negativity that so many want to try to drag us down into. So we know that there are always going to be optimism opposers, right? There will be optimism opposers. And there will be no statues built for those people. None. Except for maybe one. And that's on their gravesite. And it'll read something like this. Here lies the most negative man alive. Thank God he's dead. Right? That's basically what people will write about the negative people. So let's just avoid them at all costs. But for us, we're going to show up strong. And really, what is your birthright? What is your birthright? What is your calling? What were you born to do? And if you're doing it already, fantastic. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back and do more of it. But if you're not doing what you're born to do, if you've not stepped into that role, if you haven't made the progress and just at least got your plan down on paper and started taking action towards it, I would encourage you to do that now. Do it today. Write it down. Get it on paper. If your goal is to scale your business to the next level, then what are we waiting for? Start making those phone calls. I don't care if you have to make the 100th phone call to get one, but it's better than not taking any action at all, right? Or if you're going to launch that next funnel, your sales funnel, or a funnel with a lead magnet so you can attract more customers to your business, your brick and mortar store, then do it. And if you don't know how to do it, hire somebody on Fiverr for $10 an hour to do it. It's okay, right? Everybody needs money. Everybody needs to work. So you don't have to spend your whole life trying to figure it out on your own either, right? And you probably already know this, but did you know that sociologists, medical professionals, and the psychology professionals, they all agree on one thing? You want to know what that is? They all agree that vodka is not a healthy coping mechanism. How about that? They all agree that vodka is not it. That's not the answer. And eating a gallon of Haagen-Dazs is not the answer either, right? Yes, there are ways to reward ourselves. And yes, we can reward ourselves in small ways, but sitting down and drinking a whole bottle of vodka, what do you call it, a fifth of vodka or something like that, I don't know, and then sit back and kick back and watch Netflix all day, probably not the right coping mechanism, right? A better coping mechanism would be to schedule something in the future and have some vision to look forward to in the future, touching base with our vision, with our passion, with our goals, with what we are accomplishing, with who we are becoming, and what we are going to achieve as we move forward. And turn away from the unhealthy habits, because we know that the way we build momentum by the small actions that we take every day, right? We talked about this yesterday, those little small actions we build every day, and they build up over time. But it's crazy because it's not just the one thing. It's that if I get up every morning at 4 and I go to work out at 4:30 and I come home and I drink my green drink, I am significantly more conscious now about what other foods am I taking into my body. So now I'm thinking, okay, for my snack today, it was celery with peanut butter in the middle, right? or it's hummus on a cracker or something like that, right? Something simple. More conscious about what I'm taking into my body. So one stacks on top of the next one. And then that stacks on top of the next one because I feel better when I wake up. So I actually don't require as much sleep, and yet I have more energy. Everything starts to stack up on top of each other, starting with the morning routine, carrying throughout the day, like we talked about, taking the break, infusing ourselves with oxygen, and the evening routine of being able to lay down and go to sleep and have the body well rested. I don't know what's going on with my body because it's woken me up 2 days in a row now, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's probably the full moon, but still, it's kind of ridiculous. I wanted that extra hour. Apparently, my body doesn't want me to have it. But here's the thing. It depends on how we think about it. But for myself, personally, I owe the greats to show up, right? Because if I'm going to sleep in, my dream's not sleeping in. My dream is still out there. So I've got to wake up and go make it happen. I've got to wake up and build it. Go make it happen. Go do the thing in order to get the thing, right? And a bad day does not have to mean that we lost the week. So just because we had a bad day doesn't mean we have to have a bad week. We had a bad day, okay. We've moved on from that, and now it's moving forward, right? It's moving forward with the rest of the week, the Friday finishers. So no more laying around, no more complaining, none of that nonsense. Let's get out there and make some things happen. And we will be here on the other side of it. So when all is said and done, when the virus is gone, if it ever goes away, right? But on the other side of what we're going through right now, you know what's going to happen? Okay, I will concede this. Maybe we're dead. Okay, so what? We're all going to die. We're all dying right now. We were born, therefore we're going to die. Period, right? But if we live and we're breathing on the other side of this, who are you going to be on the other side of this? Are you going to be the same person you were at the beginning of it? Or are you going to be a better version of yourself on the other side of it because of the actions you took today and the actions you take tomorrow? Who is it that you're going to be on the other side of this whole thing? Are you going to be the best version of yourself? And if not, why not? Right? If not, why not? Because we're writing the next chapter of our lives today. We're writing the next line in the script today. And then tomorrow, we're going to write the next line. And then the next day, we're going to write the next line. We are writing our script for tomorrow today. And I promise you, we can do it. We can absolutely build it. We can grow. We can become the best version of ourselves. We can have or do anything we want. As one of my good mentors once told me, if you will just stake your flag, you can have, be, or do anything you want. You just have to make a decision that that's what you want to do. And ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, I absolutely promise you, if we will get it on paper and start taking actions every day and get that scheduled out in our schedule and then follow the schedule, we can have, be, or do exactly what we want.